The Ballona Wetlands is an ecological reserve at the end of the LA River. It is 577 acres of brackish marshes, home to thousands of mammals, birds, and bugs. It is also a valuable place for nature lovers, bird watchers, and anybody trying to escape the commotion of urban Los Angeles. Ballona has been the victim of degradation for centuries. Agriculture, drilling, construction, and wildfires have slowly ravaged the wetlands since 1820, but negotiations by the Friends of Ballona in 1990 saved half of the wetlands and declared them as an ecological reserve. Since that time, nonprofit organizations and government agencies have discussed plans to restore the land. The state is finalizing those plans now, but some activists are concerned.
Walter Lamb is the president of the Ballona Land Trust, founded in 1994 to maintain and restore Ballona. Lamb and other individuals believe the state's current plan ignores the real needs and sensitivity of the wetlands. Because of their opposition to the plan, the state has denied Lamb and the Land Trust much access to the reserve.
We actually used to do work out here, so for a long time we would come out with volunteers and we cleared all manner of stuff. I got a pictures I can show you, and actually there's a 2005, it's just frustrating even sometimes to talk about this stuff, but there's a 2005 interim stewardship and access management plan. I'll send it to you. The state paid for it, and it said, hey, take advantage of the groups who are already doing work here, make sure there's interim access, make sure there's interim stewardship. And they spent like $500,000 to prepare some of these areas for access. And then what they realized was, oh, that's our selling point. If we give that away before we get the project, and that's what they're hammering now over and over again with the public is, if you want access, support the restoration. Let's move quickly on what we can do today. Get the educational programs going, get the stewardship programs going, get people excited that we have this ecological reserve, appreciating what's there now, and then working and finding compromise, right? Because not everyone's going to get exactly what they want. So if I was designing it, I might have less change to the topography. Somebody else might want a little bit more change to the topography. Some people don't want any change to the topography, and some people want what I would consider to be radical change to the topography. Let's get back to the drawing board and figure out, based on the science, and all the different factors, what could realistically be done. Because the plan they have now, if you have a $182 million wetlands restoration project that eliminates over time coastal marsh, that just makes zero sense. But the first thing we have to do is, forget about the 30 years of grudges, frankly, between individual personalities. That needs to go out the window. We got to have a meeting around the table where we talk factually about what this plan would do and what it wouldn't do, not spin, not marketing, but what the science is telling us. And then determine, what is it? What's the goal of the restoration? If we stay on the path that we're on, we're going to continue to have a largely neglected ecological reserve. We're going to continue to have headlines about people getting shot, illegal dumping, fires, all kinds of illicit activity, you name it. It's just, it would be a huge disservice to the community, to future generations, and certainly to this ecosystem. And we can certainly do better.
I'm David Kay. I live in Playa Vista. I was born and raised in the Valley. I've been with Southern California Edison 37 years, all in their environmental services organization. I'm presently a senior manager over a major project, environmental management. And, my wetlands chops I got managing the San Diego restoration in Del Mar, 440 acres. Got me interested in wetlands, got me drafted on the Friends of Ballona. And I've been an advocate for the state's plan ever since, and still am. They just don't like the Fish and Game plan. And they might say, the Belding Savannah sparrow is going to be threatened. They might say, it's a ruse for the gas company to relocate their wells. They might say, it's a terrible idea. We don't want bulldozers in the neighborhood digging up dirt. I guess those are all just red herring arguments. They ought to just come out and say, we just don't like the project. We don't like it. We don't like the idea of bulldozers. But don't use these, foundationless arguments that the Belding Savannah sparrow and the pickleweed marsh is doomed, and there's nothing we can do about it but throw out this whole Fish and Wildlife plan. Because that's just not true. And the Department of Fish and Wildlife has just made a policy or management decision that these other people just have behaved badly. And they have lost their privilege to come in. We have the right to let who we want into the state land. Now, Mr. Lamb and others could say, well, that's just unfair. We're citizens, we have a right. Well, not if you misbehave, right? So standards of conduct are important. Civil discourse has to be civil. You can't show up at meetings and shout down. And you particularly cannot come to meetings and spew made up garbage. Like California Fish and Wildlife has a conspiracy going on with the gas company to expand their storage facilities. Yeah, it's just complete hogwash. It's what lawyers talk about in court. If you don't have the facts on your side, if you don't have the law on your side or the facts, you just pound on the table and make a lot of noise. And I think that's what these people are good at doing, and through it they have lost the privilege of going on that property with the permission of Cal Fish and Wildlife.